Welcome, you guys, and I'm going to take you under the hood so you can see a little bit, so you can learn a little bit more about how we develop and write content and the actual research that goes behind writing content. And in this example, I'm literally going to show you how we're going to get this specific page that you might have even searched on Google and found us for ranked on Google. First thing to keep in mind is that your site itself, and this slightly outside of the scope, but you want to make sure that your site has some kind of authority. That helps as far as ranking organically on Google for legal related searches. Since we're in the legal niche, I chose a keyword that we want to start to target, which is the word legal content writer. So let's go ahead and look at a bullet point list here so that you can get an idea as to how we structure our content as well as the whys behind it. So as we start here, what we're going to do first is the first thing we did is we evaluated our competition. And when you evaluate your competition, we're looking for length of content. We're looking for how often the keyword that we're ranking for, in this case it would be legal content writing, is actually targeted on the competitor's page. Do they have images? Do they have videos? How many links are going out to other related research pages such as Wikipedia, or what are their resources? So we want to break down what the competition is doing first, which is here. And I would start off with that first. Find out what keyword in the legal related space that you want to get found for, and then look at who's ranking for it. And when you figure that out, what you want to do is create a piece of content that's not only longer than theirs, but better researched, and a useful resource so that your clients can actually find you and find value in that piece of content. So that's the first thing you're going to want to do. And you can go to Google, type in the keyword you want to be found for, and then you'll find out who's ranking for it. That's step one. Step two is actually when you find the targeted keyword, then what you're going to want to do is dig and do some research to see if indeed the keyword that you want to get found for, you think you want to get found for, is even getting any search on the Google search engine. So what I like to do is I like to use a couple of tools, and there's a lot of paid tools out there for pay-per-click campaigns and SEO related paid tools. I like to use the old tried and true Google Keyword Planner, and it's absolutely free. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So what I did is I went to the Keyword Planner, and under the Keyword Ideas tab, I went ahead and typed in the word legal content writer. And as you can see, this keyword is pretty competitive. And the way that you can see that it's competitive is if you look here, it says it gets anywhere from 100 to 1,000 searches, right? And also, you can see if Google's charging for that keyword, chances are that there's search for it. So you can see it can cost you almost up to $20 to be at the top of the page for that keyword. So it tells me that it may be worth going after. The problem is that the competition is really high, so it's going to make it that much harder for me to actually get ranked. Ideally, the sweet spot is you want to find something that has a decent amount of search, but the competition is relatively low. Medium's even better, right? So if I type this keyword in, it's given me these keywords which are related. And these keywords that are related, you're going to want to sprinkle throughout your title. In the content, we'll go through that in more detail, and then just throughout the content in general. So I can see here that this keyword does get search. It's actually worth going after. Let's go ahead and try just legal content itself and see what results we get for it. It's medium, which is good, and it also gets searched, just the word legal content. So you can go after that. And if we write this right, we're not going to only show up for legal content, but we're going to also show up for legal content writer related searches, as well as law firm content writing. And we'll go over the method in a sec here, but you can see by just taking the time to do some keyword research, you can get an idea as to what people are searching for, and also the intent they have behind that search. That's huge. Let's go over that. A couple of other tools or techniques that we use when determining the correct keyword to make sure that it has sufficient search is Google Suggest. So the way that you do that is we would go here and just type in the keyword you want to get found for, and then go ahead and hit and click in it. You can see that these are other suggestions that people are actually typing in. Legal content writing samples, legal content marketing, legal content writer jobs, online legal content writing. So you can see that there's specific intent behind each keyword for legal content writing. So you want to keep an eye on that and make sure that you keep that in mind when you're writing and gather that information. Another thing that you can do is use these suggestions down here as well. The other tool we like to use is Ubersuggest. This is a free tool. Unfortunately, it's kind of limited unless you sign up, but I would just want to show you it just to give you an example. And a lot of his information is pulled from Google's API anyway. So it's up to you if you want to use it. The Google Keyword Planner is sufficient enough. One thing I do like about this is that I can get an idea as to what are competitors looking for, and you can see that here how difficult it is to rank as well. So you can see that there's other stuff, other keywords that people are actually typing in. So this tool can be pretty valuable, and this is something that we use as part of just doing our intel and keyword research. And I highly suggest you take a look at it as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the spreadsheet, at the bullet point list again. Intent behind search, big. So make sure that when you're looking for keywords, so for the example, let's say personal injury, for example, you want to type it, instead of just showing up for the word personal injury, that's a very broad keyword. You want to show up for maybe personal injury lawyers near me, or personal injury lawyers, and then targeting the specific area that you're located. In my case, I want to get hired to write content, legal related content. So the word hire is a great keyword, a great word that we can add on to legal content because it has buyer intent. Even better is buy legal content. That's a great keyword for us in this case. General rule of thumb for writing content: you want to include your targeted keywords in titles. And let's go back to that and I'll show you how you do that. So if we go back here, we want to include like law content, law firm content writing. Mix it up. These are related keywords. And then in the first title, I would use your targeted keyword for sure, which is, in this case, it would be legal content or legal content writing. And then you can look at these other related ones and see if these apply. If they do, add them. And what you're going to see is there's a thing called the halo effect when it comes to writing content. If you do it right, not only do you show up for the targeted keyword that you're focused on, but you'll show up for all these related ones too, which is what you want. You want to show up for anything that's related to what you do. And if you do it right, that's definitely going to happen. Use bullet points where necessary when writing content. Make sure that you have a decent keyword density. So in other words, if I'm writing for the keyword, legal blog content, legal blog content writers, legal content writers, etc., that you're using that throughout your content. And I wouldn't go too crazy. I'd say maybe between 10 and 12% of that piece of content should include it. You may be able to go a little bit higher today. Um, Prior to some of the Panda and Penguin update, you would see that people were overly spamming keywords. You don't want to do that. You want it to still sound natural, but I would make sure that you're sprinkling those keywords throughout your content. Next thing, how long should my content be? My legal content be? I would recommend long form content, especially in the legal space, because um, the attorney category is very competitive. So the more content that you have, the better that it's going to rank on Google, because Google will look at it as an authority piece of content and reward you with that. And then also it keeps people on your website. This is very, very big. Not only in the lawyer related space, but just in general. You want to keep people on your site. Obviously, you want them to call too, but the longer that you can keep them on there, the more that Google rewards you, because they say, you know what, time on site is this. This is actually a valuable website. That said, I'm going to reward them. So I would recommend anything with 2,000 plus words. Make sure that you're adding images, screenshots, and you'll see that throughout this piece of content here. And make sure that it just brings value to keep people on. I'm recording this video, and this reminds me of the next step, which is how you take a piece of content and repurpose it. In this case, I'm shooting a video. And then what I'm going to do is not only will I have a video, but I'm going to do screenshots as well to walk you guys through our process. And then I'm going to have this video transcribed, which is awesome because all you've got to do is speak. You can also use a technique that we like to do by just recording your voice on your iPhone or Android and then having that transcribed and cleaned up. Another thing that we did, it's very effective, but it's somewhat difficult unless you're doing it yourself. It's basically a technique that we would do is we'd interview the attorney at the law firm and interview them on various topics, specifically on practice areas, any seminal cases that they have, etc. And then what we would do is take that information, transcribe it, and clean it up. The problem we had is just getting on their schedule and the attorney actually having the time to do it. If you have the time to do it and you're a DIY type of attorney and you're just starting out, that may be the way to go, is to interview yourself or have somebody at your firm or someone that you know interview you, and then have the content transcribed and then set it up. Oh, one last thing I want to point out. This is absolutely huge, and this is kind of a ninja trick that I highly recommend. As you can see, my questions here are in a FAQ or question format. This is very big for mobile search because most people are actually typing in a question versus just a keyword. So keep that in mind as you're writing your content, to add in questions so that way you can target mobile, which is going to be big. And then, voice search is around the corner, so this is going to help with voice search as well. I hope that this video actually helps you and gives you kind of ideas as to how to write content. And also, if you're looking to hire us, you have an idea as to the work that we're putting into writing content. The days of just taking duplicative content and copying and pasting on your site are over. It takes the proper research. It takes, you've got to understand the searcher's intent. You've got to have proper keyword density. And if you get all of this right, you're going to maximize traffic and actually outrank your competition. And I think that's what we're all going for. So I hope that this piece of content has brought value. And if you have questions, feel free to contact us. There's several ways to do it on our website. You can set up a one-on-one with us, and we'd be happy to talk to you about your legal content for your website. Thanks.